Welcome back to another episode of Your Daily Real Estate. I'm Tristan. Hope you're having a good day. This episode is brought to you by my book, Real Estate Prospecting. Pick it up. Amazon's probably the fastest way. Just go get it there. If you've read it, please review it. These episodes are meant to be 5 minutes or so, always giving you actionable steps or motivating you in the right direction. This is no different. This is part 3 of 4. If you're just catching this one, you're right in the middle of it. Go back to part 1. We're talking about buyer presentation checklist for real estate agents. We're on phase 3, and this is what I call the offering. And I've got 4 sections to this. Let me make sure. Yeah, 4 sections to this. This is once we get to this part and we're talking to the buyers and we're saying, Mr. Buyer, we're looking at now submitting an offer. This is what it typically looks like. Now, you may have friends. This is number 1. You may have friends, you may have family that have done this before in the past. And I would encourage you to share it with them, get them excited. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity for a lot of people purchasing their home. And you'll always remember it the first time. And if it's the second time, you'll be like, hey, share it with your family. Or if it's a third time or they're selling, whatever it is. Tell them, hey, share it. It's a wonderful thing if that's what you want to do. Now, the challenge that sometimes happens, Mrs. Buyer, is that you're going to get people that are close to you that'll tell you, yeah, watch out for this. Yeah, watch out for that. In fact, when you submit the offer and you tell them what property it's on, they're going to be like, well, that property, wait a second. Or you may have somebody come with you at the home inspection and they'll say, well, you got to fix this, and this, and this. And as much as we love to share and love to have their opinions, I want you to rely on me more. This is what I do for a living. And instead of having the experience of selling 1 or 2 homes, maybe a year, maybe in a lifetime, we've sold hundreds, over 1,000. And we help families all the time. This is what I do for a living. This is why you're hiring me. I want you to put your trust in me in this and know that I have your best interest at heart. So when family comes in, yes, they're going to be excited. They may say some things that could be a little bit off. Always come to me. I'll be very happy to guide you in the right direction. All right, so that's number 1, I tell them. Number 2, I explain to them how we write an offer. So Mrs. Buyer, we're going to be writing up an offer and I'm going to be reaching out to the agent or to the agents and we're going to go through and say, are there any offers? Tell me anything I need to know about the property. Now, depending on my relationship with that agent, they may be more open, or depending on their inexperience, they may rely on my experience. And regardless of what happens, I'll come back to you and tell you either more information about the property or more information about the offer we're going to be writing. Because they may already have an offer. They may have a threat to write an offer, which sometimes happens when we're writing as well. So there could be a lot of things in writing. Right, in the process of writing the offer. And I'm here to guide you, but more importantly, to get that information from the other side as much as I can, because that will matter, because that will then allow us to negotiate. That is where you'll also rely on me. This is number 3, by the way. Write an offer is number 2. Number 3 is negotiate details. This is where now, Mrs. Buyer, I go through this process with you and we outline the important things. We try to think ahead based on experience and knowledge and the area and that seller and you, and trying to match something that works out where we can negotiate the deals. Now, you may think that the negotiation is over once it's submitted, and you'd be wrong. Because that's where they can come back and counter. In fact, we've had multiple counters and they say, no, buyer, we want this and maybe these terms are different. I come back to you with it and you're like, no, Tristan, it's not going to work. We really want this and this. And then we're going back and forth until we either get it accepted or it gets rejected, or somebody may come in and just give them exactly what they want, and then they may beat us to the table. So that all happens in the process of going back and forth in the negotiation. And then the last part here, this is what number 4, I call mutual acceptance. So Mrs. Buyer, this is where we then, when we get to the end, when we reach what I call mutual acceptance. That means we all agree to the terms, and then we're going to go under contract or open up escrow depending on your state. And then we have a whole nother set of things that can happen here. And that's where I stop with phase 3, the offering. Tomorrow, or if you're just listening through the whole thing, tomorrow we'll go over phase 4 and we will talk again.